folks, Mr. G here with another educational video. This is going to be the first video on integers. We're going to have two today and then two tomorrow. So this video is going to be focused on adding and subtracting integers. But before we get into that, we should probably talk about what integers are. And if you've forgotten, integers, these are the whole numbers, but that can be positive or negative. And importantly, integers don't include decimals, so we're not going to be worried about decimals to begin with. So if we have a question like 2 plus 4, what this really is telling us when we're doing things like adding is that we're going to be moving to the right. And we're going to be moving to right on our number line. Now, what this expression tells us is that we want to start at 2, and then we want to move right by 4. So on our number line here, if this is our starting point here at 2, we want to move right by 4 units. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to end up at 6. So the answer to this, 2 plus 4 equals 6. Another question, negative 4 plus 3. Now that we're dealing with negative numbers, the rules are still the same. This is still telling us to start at negative 4, and then we're still moving right by 3. 1, 2, 3. And we can see that our answer is going to be here at negative 1. Do the same thing, negative 2 plus 5. We're starting at negative 2, and we're moving 5 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we get positive 3. Now, a question like this last one's a little bit tricky. What this is asking for is what number do we want to put here so that negative 4 plus this number gives us 8? Well, what we want to do is we want to start down here at negative 4, and then we know that we want to end up at positive 8. And what we can do is try and figure out how many steps is it going to take to go from negative 4 to positive 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's going to take us 12 steps to get all the way, so negative 4 plus 12 gives us positive 8. When we're subtracting integers, it's very similar to adding, except for this minus sign, this subtraction here, tells us that we want to be moving to the left. So, just like with our adding, this tells us to start at 6 and then move left by 3. So on our diagram, we find 6 on our number line, and we want to move 3 to the left. 1, 2, 3, and we end up at 3. Similarly for our other examples, we start at negative 2, and we go left by 4. So starting over here at negative 2, we go left by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we can see that our answer is going to be negative 6. Same thing for our next example. We're starting at 4 here, and we're going left 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you can see we end up at negative 3. Now our last one is also a little bit tricky. This one, we're starting at negative 7, and we know we want to end at negative 10, so how far to the left do we need to go? Well, we know we're starting here at negative 7. We want to end up over here at negative 10, so we go to the left 1, 2, 3 times, so this is going to be left by 3. Negative 7 minus 3 gives us negative 10. There are more difficult adding and subtracting problems that we're going to be going over tomorrow, and a lot of these involve things like adding negatives and subtracting negatives, and that gets a little bit tricky. But again, we're going to focus on these simpler examples first, and we'll look at the more complicated ones tomorrow. Before we end off the video today, let's do a quick check of your understanding. So we've got 2 questions on the screen here. What I want you to do is pause the video and see if you can solve these questions on your own. Then in a moment, we'll go over the answers together. Okay, so if you've tried these questions, you're in the right spot. If you haven't, like I said, pause the video because I want you to try these before I go over the answer. For our first question here, we've got negative 12 minus 5. Remember, this minus means that we're going to the left by 5. I'm not going to draw out a full number line, but if we imagine this is minus 12 right here, we want to go 5 steps to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if this is minus 12, this would be minus 13, minus 14, minus 15, minus 16, minus 17. So our answer here would be negative 17. For our second question, we've got negative 15 plus what gives us 3. So we got to figure out what number goes here. Right now we know that we're starting at negative 15 and we want to go all the way to positive 3. If we look at the distance between these two, so how far to the right do we have to go to get between these 2 points? Well, we would have to go 15 to get to 0 here, right? So this would have a size of 15. And then we would have to go another 3 here. So to go all the way from negative 15 to positive 3, we would have to go up by 18. We'd have to go to the right by 18. So that would be our answer for the blank here, 18. That's the end of our video here. Stay tuned for the next one where we're going to be going over some basic division and multiplication questions. See you then.